the strength and resilience of all the families we work with.
Our sister Jenny, she's fighting cancer.
We're just so inspired by Ollie. He is such a little warrior.
We're inspired by CHEO Kids.
It helps you to have better quality of life.
Hello, and welcome to this class of the 2021 CHEO Yogapalooza Marathon fundraiser for the cancer program at CHEO. My name is Leah Labib. I'm delighted to be here teaching for the fourth year in a row in the CHEO Yogapalooza. Such a great cause. We've been able to fundraise so much money to help these kids at the Children's Hospital of Eastern Ontario. So thank you everyone for participating, for your donations, for taking part, and to all the organizers for organizing. Today we are going to do a very gentle practice. We'll go for another yin. That's been my go-to for these fundraisers. So without any further ado, let's get to it. So you don't need a lot of space. The first bit you can actually do sitting at a chair if you'd like, if you're not comfortable on the floor. But if you are comfortable on the floor, please do sit in a comfortable position. So right now I'm sitting on my knees. That is not going to be the ideal position because we will be seated for a little while. So let's sit on the floor on our hips. Now, if you don't find this comfortable, a couple of quick tips. Lift your hips up so that they're about in line with your knees, and or prop up your knees to be more comfortable. So we're going to start today with the right foot in front, left foot close into your body. That's if you're seated with me cross-legged on the floor, and then I can cue you into a different position once we get there. So we'll start with the right foot in front, left foot towards you, hands on your knees, and we'll just start by finding a nice tall seat. So roll your shoulders up, back, and down. Feel some length in your neck. Tuck your chin in lightly so that your head is in one line with your spine, and you can feel the crown of your head reaching to the sky. Close your eyes, relax the shoulders, and let's take a few breaths to just settle into the practice. Settle our minds into our bodies and bring our awareness within the stretches. Inhale nice and big, and exhale slowly and fully. As you inhale, notice the tension that builds a little. And as you exhale, release that tension and a little bit more. So feel free to keep your eyes closed. I'm going to walk us into the first, we're not going to move much. I'm going to walk us into the first posture. So bring one of your hand's fingertips to your chin, just to feel it even here, right? So we don't want it tucked in so that our forehead's low, and we don't want our chin up in the air. So we'll just tuck the chin to get the spine nice and long. And keeping your fingers there as a pivot point, we're going to bring the left ear to the left shoulder. And just stop once you find a stretch through the right side of your neck. Now, if you don't feel a stretch at all, you can use your finger to kind of guide your chin in different directions, gently, until you do find a stretch. So you could go up, down, side to side, and once you've kind of gently nudged your fingers to your chin to find that spot, release your hand. Release your strength, your muscles, and breathe into the stretch. Now with yin, the idea is we melt into our stretches. We start with just a small amount of sensation, and we allow time and gravity to deepen the stretch, to get into the fascia, into the connective tissues, to find a nice, sweet release. So breathe evenly in, and breathe evenly out. And allow your body to find a release. We'll take another nice big deep breath here. And exhale. And bringing your fingertips to the chin again, very gently guide your head back through neutral. And take a breath or two or three here. And notice how you feel. Did that stretch travel somewhere else? Once you're back in neutral, do you feel different one side from the other? Maybe you felt it in your shoulders. Maybe you're even feeling it in your hips. That's all totally acceptable, normal, healthy even. We're just having an exercise in noticing. And if you're seated with me on the floor, we're going to switch our legs. So we're going to bring that right foot in closer and move the left foot in front. Give the hips a bit of a different stance, a different posture. Again, bring one set of fingers. It can be the same set of fingers. They're just there as a guide to your chin. Find a kind of neutral place. And this time tip your chin the other way to bring your other ear to the other shoulder. And if you found a stretch right away, that's excellent. If you haven't, or if you want to just explore, you can use your fingertips to move, to guide your chin up, down, around, towards the sky, towards your chest, wherever it is that you just start to find a stretch. And then release your arm, relax your shoulders, release your head. And to get deeper in the stretch, it'll be time and gravity. And you may have noticed on the other side, also your breath. So find deep inhales in. And exhales to release that bit of tension. Equal inhales in. And equal slow exhales out. If your mind wanders, that is totally normal. Just come back into the sensations. Come back into your breath. And breathe into where you feel sensation, a stretch. And exhale to release and relax a little more. We'll take a couple more breaths. And when you're ready, finding your fingertips of a hand again to the chin, gently bring the chin back to neutral, back to center. And again, take a few breaths to just let that stretch settle. And breathe. And once you feel you're in a neutral place, spine-wise, neck-wise, we're going to reach the hands back behind us with the fingertips pointing forward and bend your knees, soles of the feet to the ground. And your feet could be a bit wider than the hips here. Open the chest up. We'll lift the chin for just a breath and tuck the chin back in. We're going to bring the shoulder blades together as close as you can behind you and bend into your elbows. Lift your chin up. Lift your chest up. The chin may follow if it likes, but we're just getting a really nice open chest here. And then come back through a neutral place. Your hands can now go however they're comfortable. And we'll do a few windshield wipers through the knees. So if you were seated onto a chair, you can kind of still do this, but you may want to meet us on the ground now in this position and bring both knees to one side. Inhale through center and then bring both knees to the other side. So take your time, maybe twist a little in the opposite direction. You can move with your breath. And when you're ready, we'll come back to a seat. This time we'll have the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. Again, we're going to start seated upright here. So if your knees are not comfortable, if you're feeling like this is pulling a lot, I have very open hips. So if you are kind of more on average in terms of the openness of your hips, and if I had props, I would do the same actually. You can put a pillow or folded blanket under your knees just to give yourself some support. You can also play with how far away your heels are from the groin to your chest. So this is just to give the legs a different place. We're going to stretch through the back of the neck here. So interlace your fingers, put them behind your head towards the middle of your head, so above the occipital bone. Tuck your chin in, so get that nice, beautiful, attractive double chin going. Tuck your chin down, and then let your elbows track your neck low. Now, if this is very intense for you, you can let go of the hands, or you can have just one hand for just half the amount of pressure. But let your head hang. Let your body hang. And find a slow breath. It can be difficult to breathe here. But just keep your breath going right up through the crown of your head, filling the base of your skull. Almost like you're aerating wine. Your breath coming up, aerating through your head, and all the way up through the crown, pouring onto your feet. So you have a circle of energy here. Then whenever you're ready, if you'd like, we'll start to roll the spine low too. Release your head and release into this diamond stretch through the hips, through the back, and through the weight of your skull. And breathe. While I'm here, I sometimes like to bring my fingers to the base of the skull and my thumbs to my jawline and just gently press. So it's not even a massage, it's just a little bit of gentle pressure through my fingertips that support the head, but also give a little more traction to the neck here. So that's just an option. We'll take another couple of breaths here in whatever variation you've chosen to be, whether you're still upright, whether you folded with or without your hands. And when you're ready, with an inhale, with that energy of breathing in, with the help of your hands, come all the way up to a seat. Walk your hands back behind you again. Bend your knees, soles of the feet to the mat. This time we'll bring the knees together and walk the feet apart. So we'll just knock the knees in a bit. Again, your hands can be however comfortable, whatever feels comfortable, and we'll let the knees knock in. Getting an inward rotation through the hip. And from here, we're going to keep letting the left knee knock in. We're going to open up the right knee. So we're in one windshield wiper, and let's stay here for a breath. Feel whatever stretch you feel. And if you feel quite an intense stretch, you can stay here. If it's not super intense for you and you'd like to feel a little more, we won't be here for too long today. You can walk up to a seat and we'll have a couple of breaths in deer pose. So we're just going to do this as a counter pose today, not as a full posture. And breathe. And then walk the hands back if you chose to sit up. Bring the knees through center and then slowly bring them to the other side. And take a breath here. If you're quite happy here, you may stay here. If I wasn't giving you options today, I might have stayed here in my practice. But this practice is for you. So I give you the option to come sit up in a full deer pose for a couple of breaths. And if you give it a go and you don't like it, please, by all means, go back to whatever feels right, wherever you can sink. breathe. Then we'll bring the hands back. But we're actually going to come from here into a table pose. So kind of finagle your hands around. We're going to move downward through the body. So we've gotten through the neck, through the spine. We're going to get into the hands and the wrists. So turn one hand so that the fingers are pointing back towards you. We're going to do one hand at a time so that we're all on the same page. So from here, if this is already a lot, you can actually move your hand closer to your body. That reduces the angle. You can leave it where it is. If it doesn't feel like very much at all, you can lean back a bit. So we're looking for a stretch through the front of the wrist here. And lean into that hand a little bit. And breathe. And we'll switch the weight to the other hand. Shake this one out. Form a fist, just to reduce the pressure on the wrist that we were just stretching. And turn the other fingers back. So the same options, of course, apply. If it's a lot, bring your hand in closer. You know, that reduces the angle here on the wrist. You can keep it in center. You can move it slightly forward. And then the other option is to walk yourself a little bit back, being very mindful of your elbows here. So if your elbows tend to hyperextend, try not to do the option with your hand further forward. We don't want to put undue stress on our joints. And make sure to breathe. And we'll just take another nice big breath here. Lean into the other hand. Shake this one out. Make a fist. And we'll get into the shoulders a bit while we're here on our fists. So we're not coming into a cat-cow. It's a variation where we're just going to pull our shoulder blades apart and then sink the chest down so the shoulder blades come together. So inhale, broaden the shoulder blades, and exhale, sink the chest down, draw the shoulder blades together. So you can move with your breath, or you can stay in one position or the other for a full breath before moving. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears, wherever you are. And if you're tired of being on your fists, of course, you can come back down onto your hands and wrists. And we're going to get into the toes a little while we're here. This is a good place to go into the toes. So spread your toes, tuck the toes under. So take your time to find that position and press your hips into your heels. So you can use gravity to press. There's no need to actually put any pressure. We're going to do a variation where the hands stay here on the mat. Now, we're often tempted to sit right up on the heels, but I find the moment we do that, we start to use our muscles, we start to hold with strength. And there's nothing wrong with that. But in yin, if you start to use your muscles, we get out of the yin and into the yang. And since we're looking for the melty, looking for the long, slow, time-induced release, let's just take our time and breathe from a slightly more relaxed position. If this is a lot for you, you can always walk your hands forward. We're just going to be here for another few breaths. Oh, we have a tractor keeping us busy now. Let's see if we'll hear it. So, walk the hands forward, untuck the toes, and just let your feet dangle in the air a little. Let gravity again release from that stretch. And then maybe wiggle your toes rather. Rotate your ankles. And then we'll sit back on the heels. So this time we'll have the toes pointed and the hips on the heels. And we'll take a few breaths here to just rest. Make a fist out of your hands, and one hand at a time. If it feels nice, this is optional. You can just, with a very straight arm, so no bend in your elbow, you can lean your fist into the balls of your feet. So not your toes, but kind of the balls of your feet. And then switch. So with a rocking motion, straight arm, so no bend in the wrist, and just let the weight of your body rock into those toes. This won't work well for every body proportion, so if you're not finding it, it may not be because you're not flexible or because you're stiff. It may just be that your body has different proportions and your toes aren't quite accessible. So from here, we'll get back onto sitting on our bums, and we'll do one more seated position before we lie back. So we'll bend the left leg in, extend the right leg out. This can already be a nice big stretch for some of us. So if it is, that is great. You may just want to sit here. You may also want to see how moving changes that. So feel free, if you'd like, to face the long leg. And if it feels okay for you, maybe to gently lean over the long leg. And relax from here. Your leg will naturally stiffen up. You know, we've brought it in this wide position. See if you can relax your thighs and relax the feet. Breathe in and relax your shoulders. And someone's turned a motor on near me. I don't know if they're going to turn it off anytime soon. They don't seem to actually be using the device. So listen to the soothing sounds of that motor. And breathe. And with an inhale, lift your chest up. We're going to bend that extended leg in, stretch the other leg out, find the seat that works for you. And of course, as with before, you can just stay here. A little bend in this extended knee can be okay too. You can put something under it, and we'll twist towards the long leg and exhale, if it feels right, to just lean over and breathe. Remember, if your mind wanders, that is beyond normal. Find your breath. Find where you feel a stretch. Could be through the leg, might be through your hip. You may even be feeling a release in your shoulders, upper back. Wherever that is, bring your mind and your breath into that place. And just notice and release. And relax. We'll take one last nice big breath here. And exhale. And with an inhale, come up to seated. Bring both knees in. Give yourself a nice hug. Maybe rock back and forth a little. And whenever you're ready, nice and slowly, we'll recline on our backs, on your mat. Coming into our last couple of stretches before final Shavasana. So once you've found yourself lying down, take a moment to snuggle the shoulder blades, to wiggle the hips and spread the feet a bit wider than your hips, just to find this posture the way you would any other posture. And we'll bring the knees into the chest here. Rock back and forth. Find a comfortable place. And very gently, we'll release the hands out to a T or approximately, and bring both knees over to one side. And you can lay in the way your body favored naturally here for a few breaths. We won't be here for too long. So just see what this spot provides to you. If it's pain, please do change. Find a non-painful position. But if it's anything else, let's just trust that this is a deep stretch, even for the bendy. And enjoy what it has to offer. We'll take another breath here. Exhale. And inhale. Come through center. Bring your hands to your knees again. Take a couple of breaths in neutral before releasing your arms nice and wide, and then bringing both knees to the other side. And again, just let your body be wherever it landed. Let's not adjust. Let's not find that perfect stretch for once. Now, if this is painful, of course, please listen to that. Move out, find no pain. But otherwise, let's just enjoy whatever this is that you found. And breathe. And one last breath here. Come back through center. Bring your hands just a little closer into your body, into a Shavasana-like place. With your feet bent, rather your knees bent and your feet on the ground, just lift the hips, reset them down, and then extend your legs out a bit wider than your hips. Let the feet flop. Let your head release. Breathe in and feel lifting. Breathe out and release. Breathe in, feel your whole body's energy lifting. And breathe out, feel it settle beneath. And lose track of your breath and your mind over time. And let go. We'll take one more breath here. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Wake up to the sound of a chipmunk in a tree up ahead. Rotating your ankles and wrists. I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing here. Stretch your arms out, point your toes, and flex your feet. And very gently and slowly make your way up to a comfortable seated position, just like we started off. So if you'd like, still on the floor, or if your chair is handy, you can move up to the chair. We'll take a few breaths here to just enjoy this time and space. So sitting up nice and tall, shoulders down, chin in a neutral place. Hands on your knees. And breathe. Gently bring your hands to heart center. Thank you for sharing this practice with me, for allowing me to share my practice with you in the beautiful outdoors. I do hope the sound of nature, of the loons, of the hilarious chipmunks overhead came through and brought a little bit of joy to you today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.